They had faces that were so faultless that audiences all around the world fell in love with them. They were the sparkling icons of the silver screen. Hollywood's golden age was a time when perfection was sold like it was a religion. It was characterized by sparkle, glamour, and perfectly flawless beauty. Despite the dazzling lights and silver gowns, however, there was a reality that was much less lovely. A significant number of these adored celebrities had hygiene routines that would cause even their most dedicated followers to become uneasy. Here is the terrible reality of some of the most attractive faces in Hollywood, including the fact that they do not take baths and use bizarre beauty tricks. The king who detested toothbrushes, none other than Clark Gable. It's possible that Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood, had the most beautiful smile on screen. But what about when he wasn't filming? A little less so. Co-stars frequently voiced their displeasure with his foul breath, and they had excellent reason to do so. Even though Gable had several dental problems and wore dentures, he was renowned for not brushing his teeth on a regular basis throughout his life. Vivian Leigh, who played Scarlett O'Hara in the film Gone with the Wind, mentioned that kissing him was like kissing an ashtray at one point during the production of the film. It's possible that the charming rogue of cinema was able to melt hearts, but his tongue was an entirely different story. Joan Crawford, also known as the clean freak, to whom did it go too far? It was well known that Joan Crawford was quite meticulous about maintaining a clean environment. She would cleanse her hands dozens of times a day and insisted on washing her pillows every few hours. Nevertheless, her preoccupation with cleanliness was on the verge of insanity. Reportedly, she would take many ice-cold showers daily to tighten the skin, and she would also pour rubbing alcohol on her face to maintain a sterile appearance. Her practices were so harsh that they caused her skin to crack and bleed, even though her hygiene is not considered to be poor in the conventional sense. It was Crawford's own perfectionism that turned out to be her deadliest enemy. Marlon Brando, the rebel who smelled like it, was in the third movie. When it came to cleanliness, Marlon Brando was a dreadful co-star, despite the fact that he was a brilliant actor. Complaints were made by directors and fellow actors that Brando frequently refused to shower for days at a time, that he arrived on set wearing clothes that were stained, and that he had a potent body odor that remained for a considerable amount of time after he left the room. On the set of Apocalypse Now, the crew members joked that the aroma of Brando's personal belongings was a part of the mood of the jungle. The individual who brought stark realism to the world of Hollywood also took it to his personal hygiene, it would appear. The femme fatale who didn't watch soap, Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner, who was considered to be one of the most beautiful women of the 1940s, had a beauty secret that worried makeup artists. She could not stand soap, and she had very few baths. Instead, it is said that she used perfume or alcohol to wipe herself down. Although it gave her the elegant aroma from a distance, the reality was not quite as alluring when she got closer to it. The combination of strong perfume and body odor that permeated the changing rooms was a source of frustration for her friends and co-stars. It didn't matter to Gardner, however. She was Ava Gardner, and the world would adore her regardless of the circumstances. Errol Flynn, often referred to as the swashbuckling stinker. It is said that the fragrance of Errol Flynn was what made him renowned, despite the fact that his charisma and excellent looks made him a legend. They say that he never took a bath, that he had an extravagant lifestyle, and that he had an odor that was so strong that even makeup could not cover it up. According to the sentiments of one actor who collaborated with him, he smelled like sweat, rum, and arrogance. Flynn did not place a high priority on soap. He lived quickly and loved hard. Glamour with a twist, Elizabeth Taylor. With her violet eyes, flawless lips, and a diamond collection to match, Elizabeth Taylor possessed one of the most iconic looks in the history of Hollywood. However, very few people were aware that Taylor's perfume was frequently used in place of deodorant. She thought that it was more ladylike. What exactly is the issue? It was not helpful to have studio lighting and to work for long hours in hot temperatures. The co-stars frequently made jokes about how Taylor's presence was always felt, even before she entered the room. Cary Grant and the problem with perfume. Cary Grant exemplified the very definition of refinement. He was charming, sophisticated, and always dressed to perfection. However, it was alleged that he used such a large amount of cologne that it overpowered everyone in the vicinity. It was common for directors to request that he reduce his volume, particularly in love moments where the leading lady would be left coughing rather than swooning. Scent was a component of Grant's sense of style, although moderation was never one of his strong suits. Katharine Hepburn, who was undeniably a natural beauty. As a fiercely independent woman, Hepburn had little patience for the glamour that Hollywood had to offer. She eschewed unnecessary grooming, wore men's attire, and wore barely any cosmetics. She also avoided wearing makeup. According to her co-stars, she frequently refused to apply any form of deodorant or perfume at all, stating that she preferred to smell human. Even though she received acclaim for her realism, she was not the most pleasant scene partner throughout the lengthy summer sessions that she participated in. James Dean, a cool yet careless entertainer. In addition to being a rebel without a cause, the ultimate rebel also turned against hygiene. James Dean was well known for his untidy appearance, but his style was more than just a fashion thing. It was stated that he did not take showers very often, that he did not change his clothes for several days, and that he used cigarette ashes as a hairstyling powder. Greta Garbo, otherwise known as the Recluse's Secret. As a mysterious beauty of Hollywood's early sound period, Greta Garbo was recognized for her private life and quiet nature. She was also noted for her calm personality. Nevertheless, she was notoriously known for her dislike of taking baths behind the scenes. During one of her makeup sessions, her makeup artist stated that Garbo's body stench was so potent that it filled a room. What the golden age of Hollywood knew about its dirty secret. The truth is that Hollywood in the 1930s and 1950s was not the pristine and ideal world that it presented to spectators during those years. During the time period in which many celebrities lived, taking a shower every day was not a widespread practice. Deodorants were the result of chemical studies, and hygiene was not yet a public obsession. Are you a fan of this appearance of the glamorous side? Don't forget to subscribe for more unknown tales of Hollywood's hidden past, and don't forget to leave a comment telling us which celebrity surprised you the most.